Hey beautifuls, it's Preme. This video is gonna be long. So I am going to try to post it on Saturday or Sunday. So that way, if you're off, or usually we got a little bit of time on the weekends to shoot the shit. So you can let this play in the background and let the downloads set into your spirit, into your subconscious mind. So um this is my own this is my own Who Hurt You. I told you guys I wanted to start a series. Oh, go check my blog. I posted a blog for the blog is titled Only Black Women Deserve Black Women, or something. Yeah, Only Black Women Deserve Black Women. And it's about allies, and who our allies are. And of course, my blog is oceanofdaughters.com. Go over there and check that blog out. I will do commentary for it. I'll pick up on more commentary from the blog. I don't know if you guys notice, if there's anybody that goes to read my blog. The last blog that I posted, the last one I did commentary on, I can't remember, but that's how long it's been since I did commentary on my blog. But what happened was, I wrote a blog about black women, single black women not dating in Blackistan, and it touched on abuse, sexual abuse in the R word, for black women and black girls and boys. But it was of course mostly centered about black women and girls. But at that moment, I thought, up until I wrote that blog, y'all, I really thought that I had made, I don't know how I thought this, but I thought that I had made it out of Blackistan unscathed as far as sexual abuse, because I was not technically molested by a male as a child, I thought. But then I had to come to the conclusion that I got pregnant at 14, and I got pregnant by a 21-year-old male. And it fucked me up for a long time. And I had actually stopped blogging because I had to deal with that. I had to unpack that and come to some truths about it, and I had to deal with it, and I had to work on it, and I had to work on healing. First of all, I had to realize what happened, right? Because when you're in Blackistan, you just think that the shit that goes on in this community in Blackistan is normal to you, right? So when you start unpacking it, you realize, oh shit, this is very abnormal. So I just now found out that 40% of teenage pregnancies, the girls are getting pregnant by grown men. That's probably a low number, but that's just 40% is almost half. So that's a normal thing in Blackistan, and I thought it, and I, for a very long time, I thought it was normal up until I wrote this blog, you guys, right? I just thought it was the way that Blackistan went, and I punished myself severely for it. I mean, I punished myself for it for years. I carried it, that it was my fault, and I carried that it was my fault because of the title of the video, which is why do you think little girls are fast instead of grown men are predatory? Who hurt you, Preme? So, as you see, this is the title of the video, and this is what I'm gonna get into. But let me just invite you all who want to share, right? If you want to, so I'm gonna try to do one of these once a month. And if you want to share who hurt you, you can send me an email at oceanofdaughters.com. I'm Ocean of Daughters at gmail.com. So oceanaddaughters at gmail.com, and you can just put in the what's in the description, in the whatever that box is at the top, emails, right? You can put who hurt you, and then you can write the title of the title that you want me to share, and then your name. So it would go like, so as you can read, my title says, the gist of the story, which is, why do you call little girls fast instead of calling grown men predators? And then who hurt you, and then you would include your name, right? Or the name that you want to go by. Do not include your real name. Of course, use an alias. And if you want to make a spoof email to email it to me, you can do that. This will be completely anonymous. But if you want to share who hurt you, if you want to just get it out there, like, and just say it, like, this is what the fuck happened. And if I could tell you guys, really who hurt me, like, we would be here all day long. I'm just gonna tell you one person, or one incident of Blackistan hurting me, and get into the gist of that. But Blackistan, the community and their whole self, right? Everything that's in it, the mammies, the pick-me's, the mules, the black males who actually commit and harm black women, to the ones who sit around and know it, and don't do anything about it. And, the whole black community in itself does this thing with black women and girls and then hide their hands. Like, they throw rocks and hide their hands. They cause harms and they hide their hands. They inflict this pain on black women. Black women lash out, and then nobody knows. Everybody wants to sit around and act like they didn't do it, right? And this is something that I realize is a real problem in Blackistan. It happened to me, and because they throw rocks and hide their hands, because we're women, we're feminine, right? We are feminine, and the way that the feminine works is it works in the darkness, right? It works in the inside, right? So we internalize it, right? So here I am, angry, bitter, and upset, and fucked up, right? And I internalizing it, and somehow, because they did it to me, and they hid their hands, then I internalized it, and I thought it was me for a very long time, and I blame myself. And when I say for a very long time, I mean 20 fucking years. 20 fucking years I blame myself, right? And that's our existence. That's our existence as black women, as black girls, until we decide to be siren, until we decide to be crones, until we decide to live in our divinity and be crones, right? A crone is a sovereign black woman, okay? And how we become siren is we take our identity back from Blackistan, right? The identity that they gave us, we take it back. You don't get to tell me who the fuck I am, right? I say who the fuck I am, and I say how I live my life, and I say what's good for me, and I say what I deserve, and I go and get it, right? That's what being siren is. Siren is really, for black women, is totally rejecting who Blackistan said that you was, and being who the fuck you are, who you want to be. That's what being a sovereign woman is. So that we can get a good understanding about what exactly are we talking about when we're saying sovereign, right? It's totally rejecting what they said that you were, who they said that you were, and then and taking back your identity and living in your divinity. Okay? And that's who I am. I have decided to reject them saying that I was a fast ass little girl. That's not who I was. I was a normal fucking girl. I was a normal fucking girl, okay? And I'm not living with that anymore. And I lived with it for a very long time. And I'll tell you who hurt me. I'll tell you exactly who hurt me. I am mother of one. I got pregnant at 14 years old by an adult black male. And how I got pregnant was in the city that I live in. It just really happens. Like, to this day, grown men are at the high schools waiting for little girls. I mean, to this day, you can, in my city, you can drive to any high school, and I'm telling you, it's grown men really sitting outside in their cars waiting for little girls. And you know, being predators. That's what they're doing. They're being predators, right? And I fell into that trap, which is very easy for a 14-year-old girl, right? And I ended up blaming myself for it because I felt like some kind of, because they told me that I was fast, right? I was taught that I was fast, not that he was a predator. And I believed it. I took that identity that they gave me, who they said that I was, and I lived with it for a very long time. And it started with the violation that he did against me as a young woman, as a young girl. I mean, 14 is really young. I had just come on my period at 13, right? So 14 is very young, right? It was too young. Y'all, I mean, if you have not been a teenage mom, I mean, you guys, I can listen. Too young. If you have a 14-year-old niece or a 14-year-old little cousin, or, you know, a 14-year-old girl that you know, I mean, imagine that girl being pregnant. Imagine that girl being pregnant. So anyhow, he violated me in that way. Another thing about being violated in that way is that, let's just say, for the sake of argument, right? Let's just say that I was a fast-ass little girl. I was hot in my pants, and I was, you know, I wanted to get, at 14, I wanted to get fucked, right? Not I wanted some attention from a male because my father had already been in and out of my life and did not give me what I needed as a young girl, right? Let's just say I was fast. For the sake of arguments, 14-year-old girls, if they're going to be fast, they should be fast with 14-year-old boys, right? Because when you're being sexual with an adult male expects grown-up sex, right? I think about now the normal way to lose your virginity, or the normal way to start having sex, and I remember years ago, one of my cousins, she was like 20 something years old, and she was talking about how she still, when she was being sexual, she was 20 something, and she was like, she still had sex with her shirt on. And I laughed about it, and we cracked up about it, because we was just all, we were all grown women, and we were like, girl, you still having sex with your clothes, with your shirt on. But it was because she was 20. The boys that she was having sex with, or the men that she was having sex with, was 20. Everybody was in the same age range to be having the same kind of juvenile sexual acts, or the same kind of sex acts within her age range, right? And she experienced sex in that way. She experienced losing her virginity late, right? So she started having sex when she was like 17, late for me, right? So she started having sex when she was like 17 or 18. This is a long one, right? Who hurt you, Preme? This is long. This is my story. Now, when y'all email me, y'all send it however long you want. You hear me, sis? Listen, send it however long you want it to be. I'm sharing it no matter how long you got. No matter how long you write it, sis, I'm reading it that long. I'm telling it that long. So anyway, my cousin, she's just sharing her little, how she's having sex. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then I realized at 14 years old, I was having grown-up sex. I didn't even get a chance to be shy and to be a little, lose my virginity in a way that a little girl loses her virginity. Half clothes on, half clothes off, not being what is the word I wanted? Not being advanced in sex. I lost my virginity and I started having sex when in 14. Actually, I started having sex at 13 with a grown, with this adult, my child's father, who's adult, right? And he was having adult 21-year-old sex with me, and I was only 14, right? And that was a violation to me. That was a violation to me because I was too young to not be shy. I was too young to be as sexually advanced as I was expected to be by a grown man. It was just a complete violation of my girlhood and my youth and my innocence. It was a complete violation. And I have done some work on it, but it's now that I think about it, I'm 34 years old and I think about the violation to 14-year-old Preme. And what it was, and what the fuck it was a fucking statutory rape. That's what it was. And then after that violation, I was condemned by Blackistan for being a teenage mom. Right? I was condemned by Blackistan for being a teenage mom. I remember coming home. So I'm 14, 15 years old. I got this baby. I got a stroller. Things, life is still happening because, I didn't drop out of high school. I still went to school. So I went to school and I picked up my baby from daycare. You guys, I was fucking mothering at fucking 14 and 15 and 16 years old. I was mothering. My entire youth was stolen from me. This is who hurt you, Preme. This is what hurts. My entire youth was stolen from me. And unlike the majority of teenage moms, I fucking mothered. I know women today who have children and they fucking big ages by black men who don't mother as well as I was when I was fucking 16 years old. Anyhow, so I remember coming home with a stroller, and I had a so I don't know, back then in the early 2000s, they had those big ass strollers, like the little foldable, collapsible strollers that's out now that you can just grab and go. Was not a thing. They had those big ass strollers. So I had the baby on one hip, I had my baby girl on one hip, and I'm trying to fold down the stroller, right? And little boys that went to school with me saw me folding down the stroller and trying to get it up. And when I say little boys, they was out hustling. And they saw me folding the stroller and trying to get it up. And an older guy who was a hustler as well came up behind me. He helped me with the stroller. And he was like, he asked those young guys, why y'all watching her take the stroller up the steps? Y'all see her struggling with the stroller. And these boys at that age already had venom towards me. One of them said, that's not my fucking baby. Can you fucking believe it? Who hurt you, Preme? He said, that's not my fucking baby. So even though I see a woman or a girl struggling with the stroller and a baby on her hip trying to get it all up the steps, I can't take a second out of what the fuck I'm doing, fucking polluting in the fucking neighborhood with crack, and help her with the stroller up the steps. Cause that's not my fucking baby. This is how the black community condemns black girls after, right? So first of all, I was violated by this grown man who got me pregnant when I was a very young girl and he was an adult. After that, right, he's gone or he's fading out. He had a girlfriend that was his age that had a baby who was, god damn it, who was pregnant at the same time as me, right? My daughter and her brother are days apart and being born, right? So it's this grown man who has a baby. He has a baby that's already here, and then he also has a baby on the way with his adult girlfriend. And I was the problem, right? I was in the way. Luckily, he ain't, unalive me, because that's the thing, to save face. But anyway, so I'm already abandoned and young and a mother, and then to add insult to injury, these little baby terrorists, right? Just got venom towards me for no reason. For no reason at all. Like, was just nasty towards me for no reason. And then my own family, right? My aunts and my cousins and the older women in my family, I would hear conversations and walk in on them as my daughter got older, because my mother, she raised me and my brother a little bit unconventional. Then my family raised their children. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. Like, we was able to choose our shoes and what we was going to wear to school. I was able to pick my hairstyles, and I was able to dye my hair. And like, when I was in middle school, I could dye my hair, right? And my mother got trashed for that, right? Because she let us do anything we wanted. So if my mother was a little bit looser in her parenting, then of course I was going to be a lot looser. Okay. So I was raising this little baby, and you know, when a baby is little and she might be about 2 or 3 years old, she starts saying no, right? I say, baby name, go put your shoes on, and she yelled no, right? And my family and my aunts were here, and they would just go on about how I did not know what I was doing, how I was not raising my daughter well, how I wasn't going to make it, and how she wasn't going to make it, right? So now I'm hearing all this, right? I remember one of my aunts telling my mother that I didn't know what I was doing, and she was right, but she didn't help. She was right. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but she didn't help. So just being trashed by the older women in my family and in the community, hearing, older black women saying that they, I didn't know what I was doing. She gonna kill that baby. I mean, just like really trashing me the whole way through, all the way raising my daughter, all the way up until my daughter graduated from high school. I was being trashed. Once she got into middle school, there were talks about how she was going to end up pregnant. And just like me, how she was too grown, because if I was able to dye my hair, when I was in middle school, then my daughter may have been able to get, long Senegalese twists in middle school. So I was letting her be too grown, and she was going to end up pregnant just like me. And these were all the conversations I was hearing while I was trying to raise my daughter, right? So now when you ask who hurt you, who hurt you, who scarred you, now you're getting a good idea and a good picture of how I was violated as a fucking child, then how I was terrorized by local boys in my neighborhood, and then how I was demonized by the older women and told I wasn't good enough. And being told I wasn't good enough really didn't start until I got in my 20s, and I started to try to date, right? Because I got done. My baby father, he whipped my ass for years, right? Who hurt you? Yeah, he whipped my ass for years, right? Because I was 8 years his junior. He was very abusive and very controlling. And after I finally freed myself of that, I thought I could still date, right? And these males were so fucking cruel to me for being a single mom. I mean, when I tell you, no compassion at all, none. I didn't even know. I remember my first time ever getting any compassion about being a young mom and making it, bitch, because I was making it, right? Until I started working in a job that was not in Blackistan. I had got a job out in the county, and the county paid more. And I remember one day just telling my coworker that, if I'm 20, my daughter was, I might have been about 21. So that made my daughter maybe about, I'm not good with math. So that she was about 6 or 7, right? So I told one of my coworkers I had a 7-year-old daughter, and she said, "Oh my gosh, this was a white woman." She said, "Oh my gosh," and she literally asked me, "Is she okay? Are you guys okay?" Like she couldn't. It was unfathomable to her that we made it, and that it was abnormal. As a matter of fact, I remember telling someone in the same job that I had a daughter, and then I could see people when they start doing the math. I said, yeah, I got pregnant at 14. She thought I was all-worded, because I was, right? She thought I was all-worded because I was statutory all-worded, right? And she said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. She thought that my daughter was an actual result of a R-word, right? She could not believe that this is, what the fuck happens in Blackistan. Grown men sitting around at the school waiting for the little girls. Like, she couldn't believe, like, that's a thing, right? And it was in that kind of environment. Now, mind you, I was in my 20s, so these were older white women. These were not Karens. These were not nasty white women. These were more kinder white women, and they showed me a different kind of compassion than I had ever experienced in Blackistan. And that didn't even dawn on me until just now in the past year when I started unpacking it, right? When I started unpacking what the fuck happened, then I realized, oh shit, like how their response to me at that time, their shock, their concern, their pity, and their compassion was something I had never experienced in Blackistan. And now looking back on it, I know what it was. It was what it was. It was compassion. It was even pity. It was like, I can't believe that you're here because, when Becky get pregnant at, 14, Methane get pregnant at 14, and, she get pregnant by John Bob, and he's 16, and, they live their life, and it's just a fucking mess, and that's how it goes over there. But it's a little bit different over here because these fucking big grown men are preying on little girls. Anyhow, so moving on to my 20s when I started dating, and by then I didn't know that this thing in Blackistan was happening where the males were already being nasty towards or discarding towards black women or single mothers, right? I didn't know that this was already happening, right? So I was still trying to date them. Because I had only, by this time, once I got into my 21 and 22 and 23, I had only been in an abusive relationship with my daughter's father, right? That was it. So I didn't even get out there to date men that was my age, right? Because if I was 21, then he was 29-ish, right? And I hadn't dated men my age, right? I didn't know the venom that was already deep-seated in the fucking educated lanes already, right? I had no idea that was going on, so I was trying to date him, right? Just like Blackistan told me, choose better. Okay, I was choosing better, right? Because my daughter's father, he was he was what he was, like they say, he was a thug, right? But we can unpack later why black girls in Blackistan, especially a 14-year-old girl, would like the thugs, right? But we ain't doing that right now. So now these educated lames, right? They had already decided that I had already got pregnant by a thug and had already dismissed them, right? I had no idea this was going on, but they were, when I tell you them niggas was mean to me. I mean, just flat out mean. And in some cases, I didn't even get because I've always known better than to be intimate with somebody who flat out didn't like me. So I would feel this fucking disdain from them. And as a result, I wouldn't want to really be intimate with them. And they were fucking cruel and mean. Like, they would throw the fact that I had a baby in my face and tell me, well, you let somebody get you pregnant. Like, what? Like, what the fuck you mad at me for? You know what I'm saying? I'm in my early 20s and I'm like, what in the fuck is you mad at me for? Like, what I do wrong? So these guys were just, I guess because I had a baby, they had just thought like, you know, she should just be grateful for the experience. And I wasn't. And they treated me very mean, and very nasty because I was not grateful for the experience, right? At about 23, my mother passed away. And when my mother passed away, I had insurance, right, on my mother. I mean, this is really just Blackistan bullshit, right? My mother passed away, and she passed away from a heart attack. I told you guys, you know, my mom, she was a mule. She lived her 50 years, and it was time to clock out. Peace and blessings be upon her. But that's what happened. So my mom passes away. First of all, I didn't get any help from anybody in raising my daughter. The only person that offered me help in raising my daughter was my mother. And I am extremely grateful for her. I am completely in her debt. And, yeah, that's the end of that story, right? So now my only help, right? I'm 23 years old. My only help has just now passed away. I'm 23, my brother is 21, and when I tell you my family completely ghosted, I'm telling you, like, completely ghosted. I had to, I planned my mother's funeral, and I guess you can ghost, right? Your family can ghost if they want to. They don't really have to be around. It was why they ghosted, though. It was why they ghosted. That was a complete slap in my face. Who hurt you, Preme? This is what hurt. So, I had planned my mother's funeral. She had insurance. She had insurance on herself, and I also had insurance on her. So money was what is an issue, right? So I planned her funeral all by myself. I wrote her obituary all by myself. I went through her things, and I found out all the dates that her sister and her cousins could have helped me with and helped me write her obituary, but I'm a fucking writer, so I wrote a fucking obituary, and that shit was good, right? It was a good fucking obituary. It was a good one, right? I wrote it out, and I had and I was all alone. My brother, my brother was present, but my brother was really, really torn up about because of course my brother lived with my mother, right? At the time, you know, I was grown. She told me I had to, you know, live on my own. I was a big girl now and go out in the world and be a grown woman because I taught you how to be a grown woman. But my son, I'm going to keep him right here with me. So my brother was really fucked up, right? And I planned a funeral all by myself, and then at her repast, it was a big thing about how it was paid for. And the whole family was going around about how I didn't help. I don't know where she had the money from because I didn't help. And that's when it dawned on me, oh, this is why they ghosted me. They were afraid that I was going to ask them for money. I was fucking mourning the loss of my mother, and I could not get any kind of emotional support from my family who raised all of their fucking children, right? My mother who raised all of their fucking children, that family, all they fucking kids inside our house eating up all our fucking fucking fruit snacks and chips and shit and snacks all summer long. Yeah, those kids' mother had ghosted me so that I would not ask them for money. And my mother knew that they was gonna ghost me, which is probably why she had insurance, right? But yeah, who hurt you, Preme? That shit hurt too. And then in raising my daughter, once my mother was gone, no one helped. No one jumped in and tried to pick up, you know, and help me. I was you know, it takes a village to raise a child is what the fuck they say, right? A village raised theirs, or at least my mother did, right? But no one helped me raise my child. I was totally abandoned by my family. I was abandoned by my daughter's father. I was abandoned by my family. And I know now that when we talking about being sovereign and being and living a sovereign life as a black woman and not letting anyone you know, use you or suck you dry, don't raise your sister's children, you know, that kind of thing. But these are not sovereign fucking people in my family. These are fucking Blackistani vultures. Who allowed my mother to raise all their children, and then when my mother dropped dead, they totally abandoned hers, right? Which was fine. I coursed through it, Mind you, I'm carrying all this hurt, all of this anger, all this bitterness, and that's why I kind of lost focus of what I wanted to do with my blog, because I got so fucking bitter and so fucking angry, and I know that it's women on this divested space, and I said my channel is not a divested channel, although I am divested, but divested. My channel is not a divested channel, but it's women in the divested space who say and who trash other content creators for being, as they say, bitter. They say being the niggas that y'all hate, using words like apes and gorilla and monkeys, and from now on, a terrorist over here, right? Whatever. Using the hard ER when describing them. It's content creators trashing those kind of divestors, and the divestors who are showing their anger, and they are showing their anger and their disdain for men who have shown their anger and disdain for 20 fucking years on this fucking YouTube. For 20 years. And they say 10 years. No, it was 20, because I remember hearing Sergeant Willie Pete fucking 20 years ago. It's been 20 fucking years on this fucking internet that black males have been trashing black women, and you want to censor how black women respond now that black women have finally decided to respond? No, sis, we not having it. No, sis, we not having it. We're going to say what we want to say, how we want to say it, and when we want to say it. You will not censor us, because no one censored them. And then it was a question asked, well, what happens when this makes it to the mainstream, or what happens when divestment makes it to the mainstream and we over here using racial slurs or whatever the hell? Listen, they have been calling us everything but a child of God. Listen, I was coming in contact with men back when I was trying to date black males, and they were saying things to me that now, right, I'm realizing was sodomizer content. I'm realizing what sodomizer's content these males were fucking spewing to me when I was 25, 26, and 27, still trying to date them, and they were saying that kind of content to me, and I had no fucking idea. This is what I mean about Blackistan throwing rocks and hiding their hands, right? Because now black women have decided, divested black women, shout out to the zealots, right? Are on this YouTube doing the same thing that black men did for 20 fucking years, being very honest, unlike they did, right? They told a lot of lies on us for a very long time, right? They said that I had I was a whore and I had a baby young, and I met him on a first date and fucked him on a first date, and there was no motherfucking date. I was 14. That nigga took me to the fucking mall and bought me a Lil Wayne CD. Okay, there was no fucking date. There was no first fucking date. He was grown as shit, and he took me to and bought me a fucking Lil Wayne CD. Okay, so there was no dates, bro. You on here talking about shit that never happened. This is what we talking about when they throw rocks and hide their hands. What the fuck they on here saying never happened? I'm telling you, as a baby mama, right? I'm telling you, as a black woman who had a child, that those stories that they are saying, that shit never happened. They called me fast instead of calling him a predator. Okay? That's what the fuck happened. They came on this fucking YouTube for 20 years and called me a fast ass little girl, hair-headed hooligan, just all kinds of fucking nasty fucking names, and bed, I mean, calling divested women bed wenches. I mean, they really trash. They really trash divested women. And before they got a target that was divested women, they were trashing everyday black women who were victims of Blackistan. Yes, bitch, victims. Black women can be victims. Yes. Black women can be victims. And they were trashing black women who were victims of Blackistan, and made do with what the fuck we had, right? Made do with what the fuck we had, and they, let me cough. But we made do with what the fuck we had, and, they trashed us for it. And now you want to come over here with your class and your fucking, elites, your elitism, and I done told you that all black women are elites. If you born a black woman, you are elites. I done told your ass that all black women are elite, but you don't fucking listen. You think that you're an elitist and that you're a classist and that you special some kind of way, and that you can censor black women talking. No. No. Black women get to do what the fuck they want to do, finally. Finally. However they want to do it. So, to those zealots that come over here, and the beautiful zealots and the beautiful women who be up in the palace with the duchess and say what the fuck they want to say, to those women, that's what the fuck sovereign is. Doing what the fuck we want to do. Taking our identity back. Not being forced to conform and not being forced to do things as someone else see fit. No, we don't do that no more. We don't do that no more. So, there's that. I thought I should throw that in there. But anyway, they, so these guys on the internet, and I had no idea that this was going on, right? But they had already basically threw me in the trash, right? I had a baby at 14. No one asked what happened. You know, Blackistan got to let it happen. Got to allow the space for this kind of thing to happen. And then they hid their hands. And I had to deal with it. I had to eat it up. I really began to think that I really was unworthy, right? I really was a fast-ass little girl. I got pregnant. I ruined my life. I ruined her life. Although I did bust my ass. Although I did bust my ass mothering. Okay? Not near one of these niggas that's on this YouTube space. Not near one of, they fell from their mother womb. Ain't near one of them can hold a candle to mine. Near one of them can hold a candle to what I produce from my womb. Okay? When I tell you I did my work as a mother, I did my work as a mother. While they sit on YouTube and trash black women while the whole world watches their bitch assness, my daughter is sitting inside of a comfy dorm, okay? A very comfy dorm that I pay for. Living her life as a carefree black girl. It's times that I have to look at her astonished that I even did this. That this is my work. Okay, it's times that I have to look at her and I have to really say to myself, damn, Preme, you did that. When I tell you carefree, don't give a fuck about nothing. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. Yes, that's what I did. I produced a carefree black girl. And not near one of those niggas that's not near one of these niggas that's on this YouTube mother can say the same, that she produced anything worth a damn from her womb. And in the days where I had to sit with sit with what really happened to me, what my life really was. That was the silver lining for me. And I tell my daughter that all the time when she calls me, and I might have been, feeling the way up about the youth that I thought that I lost, and she'll call me or she'll send me a picture of her name on a dean's list at her school. That's the silver lining for me. She makes it all worth it. When it's time for me to overcome, I have to remember that I did do something. I did something. I did something that most people in Blackistan can't do, will never do, and did not care to do. I raised a carefree black girl. So, anyway, that's who hurt me. That's if y'all want to know, if you over here and you want to know, you want to gaslight like you don't know what happened in Blackistan. I'm an angry, bitter black woman. Who hurt me? Now you know. Now you got who hurt me. Okay? And if you are a black woman who wants to share your own story, I will be decided on random stories to post that I see a black women, basically how I'm adding context to our stories, right? So when I see these stories about crazy black women who were destroyed by Blackistan, damn near destroyed by Blackistan, and they I'm gonna start adding context to their stories. I'm not gonna let no one else tell our stories. Okay, so that's Preme's story. I think I kind of wrapped it up. I was getting to my last boyfriend in Blackistan. He was a sodomizer supporter, right? I had no idea. Right? I had no idea. First of all, when I started dating him, I was 29 years old. And that was my last relationship with a black male, right? And he was very venomous. He was very nasty towards me, and I did not know that, that hate was, of course, coming from this YouTube thing that black males are doing, where they throw rocks and hide their hands, and it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's happening, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Blackistan destroying black women and girls and then pretending like they don't know what happened to them. So if I'm able to add context to your story, and you want me to share who hurt you, as I said, send me an email at oceanofdaughters@gmail.com. Take your time, share all the details that you want, and I will share. I will share, and just put, let's just put Blackistan on blast. At this point, since we out, listen, as a wise woman said, they are lighting the house on fire and leaving us in it. Well, sovereign black women has already left. You know what I'm saying? So let us be the ones to let it on fire. Okay? Let us be the ones to set it on fire and to ring the alarm on what Blackistan really is and how it really treats its women and girls. And as I said, the cornerstone of patriarchy is how it protects its women and children. And there is no patriarchy over here. And a lot that I listened to over in the palace, one of the ladies said that a colored woman, and how old this lady is. She said a colored woman is the only woman in the only woman who don't have no men in her race. And it's some truth to that. It's some truth to that. And they are cowards and they throw rocks and hide their hands. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's happening all around us. Everywhere I look, it's a black woman fucking destroyed by Blackistan. And, you know, their hands are being hidden. The hands are being hidden. But I'm telling, damn it. Preme is telling. I'm telling on everybody. I'm telling on the terrorists themselves. I'm telling on the mammies that house them. I'm telling on the pick-me's that's fucking them. I'm telling on the mules who are financing them. I'm telling. Okay? One thing about me, I'ma tell it. Okay? As I heard from a wise man, I'm gonna tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. Okay? That's one thing about me. I'm gonna tell the truth and I'm gonna let the chips fall where they may. So I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Love you guys so much. Don't forget to go and check out my last blog. It is titled Only Black Women Deserve Black Women. I think I might throw the word siren in there. So only siren black women deserve siren black women. I'm talking about allies. I'm talking about allies because I think that some of the other ladies in this space are worried about if divestment goes mainstream, how we look as a collective, if we are saying the truth about the terrorists. Well, the truth is the truth. Okay? The truth cannot be hidden. The truth cannot be hidden for much longer. I know that you guys are scared how your son's gonna look. I know y'all scared how them thumbs gonna look. I know what it is. Y'all can come up on here and y'all can talk all those divestment talking points if you want. But I know y'all scared shitless about how your thumbs are going to look. And you're also afraid about how the unicorns are going to look for not doing anything about it for years. For centuries, the unicorns have done nothing about it. They have let the terrorists terrorize black women and children, and they have done nothing about it. That is, you want to know what that's called? We have a title for men like that. They are called cowards. Your unicorn, he's a coward. He's a coward. Rosa going up and down these streets talking about, she in and out of everywhere talking about, when it's safe, she like, oh, this is who's doing it. When it's not safe to say it, she don't say it. But we all know who doing it, right? We all know who is killing black women every 6 hours. We all know who the fucking culprit is. And the unicorns have done nothing about it. The unicorns ain't doing nothing about it. So I know that you guys are afraid that your unicorns are going to be your sons, and your unicorns are going to be called out for being terrorists, right? Your sons are terrorists. Your cousins and them, they terrorists. They are fucking black women up left and right. And then your unicorns are cowards. They are doing nothing to stop it. Oh, and while we're here, I'm gonna tell y'all a story about the unicorns and the cowards. Cause I knew some unicorns. One time in the mall, first of all, I had my daughter, and I was young. I was pushing a stroller, and I'm pushing it down the street, and excuse me. The unicorn was like, "Who baby is that?" Cause he knew I was young. He knew my age, right? And he was older. He was the same age as my daughter's father, right? So he said, "Who baby is that?" And I was like, "Mine." He was like, "You lying." I was like, "No, it's my baby." Ashamedly, it really is my baby. And he was like, "Oh," he went on about his business. He probably thought, my little fast ass was getting pregnant by, if I'm 14, okay, 16 is fair. You know, if I'm 14 and I'm a fast ass little girl and I got pregnant, you know, 16 is a fair age. A 16-year-old boy, okay, well, that's understandable, right? So he went on about his business. Years later, right, my daughter may have been about 5, and me and my daughter's father was in the mall, and he saw us, and he knew my daughter's father, and he looked my daughter's father right in the eye, and he said, "Tell me it ain't so." And my daughter's father laughed it off and was like, you know, shook his head and embarrassingly, and the unicorn was just like, "Tell me it ain't so. These are the unicorns, right?" Dapped him up and went on about his business like it was nothing, you know, nothing wrong, like, you know. And this is the average unicorn. You know, they know that their friends and their cousins and their buddies is foul as fuck. And they, at most, they say, "Tell me it ain't so. Tell me you're not really, you know, fucking on no little girl. Tell me you're not really, you know, cheating on your wife with other men." You know, tell me it's really not so that you fucking choked your, you know, girlfriend out. Like, that's all they got. All they got is like, "I can't believe it." And this is the unicorn. You know, they every black woman that you guys see on Black Femicide who is murdered by who is unalived by a terrorist, he has a unicorn homeboy, okay? He has a unicorn cousin. His uncle is a unicorn. His father is a unicorn. There's a unicorn around him because there's a lot of unicorns. Y'all always talking about unicorns, so I know it's a lot of them. You know, I don't really see a lot of these unicorns, but I know when I'm in divested spaces, and I'm talking to divested women right now, I'm talking to you guys right now. You guys know a lot of unicorns. As a divested woman who is silent, I don't know that many, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't know none. I don't know near unicorn. But y'all know a lot of unicorns, and I'm telling you, if it's so many unicorns, some of them unicorns know about some of those black women being unalived. Okay? Some of those unicorns, they know what's going on. So, that's my piece. Again, email me at oceanofdaughters@gmail.com if you want to share who hurt you. If you want to get that off your chest, sis, I'm here to tell it. Okay? Again, you guys, enjoy your weekend. I love you.